my banking account. So once I start a new one, how is that money not in there to ensure that it's not on zero? So then if they put me on zero, how would I not be insured automatically to 250,000? We put our accounting and routing number, but then the bank changed it once we put it out there to ask for help. So once we ask for help with our banking and routing number to make it easy to ask for cash or charity deposits, then the bank they locked and closed our account, which is illegal, which means federally that should be insured to 250,000. Easy. Anything against them. But then legally, I would have to collect my money against the state of Hawaii, Maui County, because that's where I'm raised, right? So if I was raised there my whole life, then I would have to turn into a legal team outside is what they are. If you were raised there, that's where your first legal offenses would be, because of compounding interest in the work that you have done. So each job and each place that you worked, if there's not able to if you cannot then work or you have to retire, your compounding interest at each job would be able to then have you in houses, cars, and able to have to give each person. So then if I just have a phone and then there's nothing open to work at night, then we will have to then be a legal team outside. And then every time the state offensive, foul, and flagrant against us because they forced us to go outside, then every time the police did something, that's where our legal team would have to get funding from the police, from the state. People feel like it's their money, but then it would be the compounding interest of all those jobs, because if each place you work, if those jobs were more than $1,000, they wouldn't then be able to give you Social Security $1,000 every month. If you worked over there at every place was more than 1,000, then have to retire, right? That's how compounding interest could then work to actually help somebody. But then it would have to meet COLA, right? This is the cost of living adjustment, which is not just only 2% every year. That wouldn't get you afloat to then buy anything if they only gave you that amount. So they would have to give you way more than a 2%, which is like $200 or $100 adjustment. And they would have to look at everything you did at work and then give you a cost of living for that compounding at the bank. And then they would have to try to almost federally insure people that they do offensive, flagrant fouls against, especially if they're outside or then are forced to turn into their own legal team to represent themselves, which outside or then are forced to turn into their own legal team to represent themselves, which nobody really wants